Four doors stand before you. Not physical doors made of wood or steel, but doors that exist in the realm of the psyche. In that hidden landscape where your unconscious speaks in images, where your deepest truths wait patiently to be recognized. These are not random choices placed before you. They are mirrors, portals, gateways into the parts of yourself you've been carrying all along, but perhaps never fully seen. Each door holds a different energy, a different archetypal force, a different frequency of the soul. And the door you choose, the one that pulls at something wordless inside you, will reveal which unconscious pattern is currently shaping your inner world, guiding your choices, coloring your emotions, and calling you toward transformation. Don't analyze. Don't think too hard. Don't try to predict what each door might mean before you choose. Your rational mind will only get in the way. The unconscious doesn't speak in logic. It speaks in resonance, in attraction, in a quiet knowing that moves faster than thought. One of these doors will feel different, not louder, not brighter, just undeniably yours. That pull, that whisper, that subtle magnetism, that is your psyche trying to show you something. Trust it. Your unconscious has been guiding you long before your conscious mind learned to question everything. In front of you are four doors. The first is old, weathered, made of dark oak with deep grooves carved by time. The second is tall and narrow, painted a deep midnight blue with a silver handle that catches the light. The third is arched and ornate, framed in gold with intricate patterns that seem to shift when you look too closely. The fourth is simple, almost invisible, a pale door that blends into the wall, barely there at all. Each one leads somewhere different. Not to a place, but to a part of you. Look at them, feel them, and when one calls to you, when one feels like it's been waiting for you specifically, that's the door your soul has already chosen. Now, let's see what it means. If the first door, the old weathered door made of dark oak with grooves carved deep by time, is the one that called to you, then you are walking through a period of your life where the past is not behind you, it is inside you, alive, active, shaping everything you feel and every way you move through the world. This door represents the archetype of memory, ancestry, and the unconscious inheritance we all carry but rarely acknowledge. You are someone who feels the weight of time, not in a painful way necessarily, but in a way that makes you aware that life is layered, that every moment you're living now is built on moments that came before, that your story didn't start with you. You carry depth, a kind of old soul quality that others sense immediately, even if they can't name it. People feel something ancient in you, something that has seen more than your years would suggest. You don't live on the surface, you can't. Your inner world is full of echoes, patterns, memories, not just your own, but collective ones, feelings that seem to come from somewhere older than your personal history. You're drawn to things that have lasted, traditions, rituals, stories passed down, objects that hold meaning. You understand instinctively that the past is not dead. It lives in us, it whispers through us, and right now, it's whispering loudly to you.
But this door also carries a warning. Sometimes you hold on too tightly. You replay old scenes, old wounds, old versions of yourself that no longer serve you. You carry guilt or grief or stories that were never even yours to begin with. The grooves in this door are deep because you trace them over and over, walking the same internal paths, returning to the same emotional places, unable to fully let go. The unconscious keeps pulling you back, not to punish you, but because something there still needs your attention, something unresolved, something waiting to be transformed. The message of this door is integration. You are being called to honor the past without being imprisoned by it, to recognize the patterns without repeating them endlessly, to take the wisdom and leave the weight. You have the power to reshape what you've inherited. Memory is not a cage, it's a teacher. And you're ready now, whether you know it or not, to learn what it's been trying to show you all along. There is a reason this door felt familiar. You've been here before, metaphorically, emotionally. But this time, you're not just passing through. You're stopping. You're looking. You're asking the right questions. And that changes everything. If the second door, the tall, narrow door painted midnight blue with a silver handle that catches the light, spoke to you, then your psyche is currently moving through a process of awakening. This door does not represent comfort or familiarity. It represents the unknown, the unexplored, the part of yourself that has been quietly waiting for permission to emerge. You are standing at the threshold of change, and whether you've named it yet or not, you can feel it. Something inside you is stirring, something that can no longer stay silent, hidden, or ignored. The midnight blue suggests depth, mystery, the vastness of the unconscious mind. You are someone who is no longer satisfied with surface explanations. You want to understand yourself at a level most people avoid entirely. You want to know why you feel what you feel, why you react the way you do, why certain patterns keep appearing in your life. You are hungry for truth, not the polished version people present to the world, but the raw, unedited truth that lives beneath the persona. This door is the gateway to that truth.
The silver handle represents a key, a tool, a moment of access. You've been locked out of certain parts of yourself for a long time, maybe because you were taught not to look there, maybe because it felt too painful, too overwhelming, too much. But now, the handle is in your hand. The door is in front of you, and some part of you knows it's time to open it. What's on the other side isn't comfortable, but it's real, and you need real right now more than you need safe. This door is associated with the archetype of the seeker, the one who cannot rest in ignorance, who must venture into the darkness to find the light. You are being called into shadow work, into the process of meeting the parts of yourself you've rejected, denied, or hidden away. This is not easy work. It will ask you to face discomfort, to sit with emotions you've been avoiding, to admit truths you've been running from. But on the other side of that process is freedom. Authentic, unshakable, liberating freedom. You didn't choose this door by accident. You chose it because some part of you is ready to stop pretending, ready to stop performing, ready to live a half version of who you actually are. The midnight blue door doesn't promise ease. It promises transformation. And transformation is exactly what your soul is craving right now. If the third door, the arched and ornate door framed in gold with intricate patterns that seem to shift when you look too closely, is the one that pulled you in, then your psyche is alive with creative energy, expansion, and the call towards self-expression. This is not the door of stillness or simplicity. This is the door of complexity, of multiplicity,
of a soul that refuses to be reduced to one dimension. You are someone who contains vastness, too many ideas, too many feelings, too many possibilities to ever fit into a single story or role. And right now, that vastness is demanding to be seen.
The gold frame speaks to value, to the sacred, to something precious that must be honored. You have been underestimating yourself. You've been shrinking, dimming your light, making yourself smaller to fit into spaces that were never built for someone like you. But this door is reminding you, you were not made to fit. You were made to expand, to create, to bring something into the world that only you can bring. Your uniqueness is not a flaw, it is your offering. The intricate patterns that shift and change reflect the nature of your inner world. You are not static. You are constantly evolving, constantly reshaping, constantly discovering new layers of who you are. What was true for you a year ago may no longer be true today. What you wanted last month may feel irrelevant now. This fluidity confuses other people, and sometimes it even confuses you. But it is not confusion, it is transformation in motion. You are not lost, you are becoming. This door represents the archetype of the creator, the artist, the one who channels the unconscious into form. You don't have to be a painter or a writer to carry this energy. Creation is not limited to art. It is the act of bringing something new into existence, whether that's a project, a relationship, a way of living, a version of yourself that didn't exist before. You are being called to create, not for applause or approval, but because creation is how your soul breathes. It is how you process, how you heal, how you make sense of the chaos inside you. The gold door also carries a challenge. Sometimes you get lost in the patterns. You overthink, you overanalyze, you get tangled in possibilities and paralyzed by choice. You see so many directions you could go that you end up going nowhere at all. The message here is focus. Not rigid, joyless focus, but intentional, aligned focus. Choose one thread and follow it. Trust that the other possibilities will still be there if you need them, but right now your energy needs a container, a direction, a form. You chose this door because you are ready to stop waiting for permission. You are ready to stop doubting whether you have something valuable to offer. You do. And the world is waiting for you to finally believe it. If the fourth door, the pale, simple, almost invisible door that blends into the wall is the one that felt like home, then your soul is moving through a season of inner retreat, quiet and deep rest. This is not the door of action or ambition. This is the door of being, of stillness, of returning to yourself after a long time of giving too much away. You've been seen by the world. You've been performing, producing, showing up, holding space for others. But who has been holding space for you? Who has been seeing you not as a role or a function, but as a person with needs, limits, and a heart that occasionally gets tired? The pale color suggests softness, neutrality, the absence of demand. You are someone who does not need to be loud to matter. You do not need to prove your worth through constant effort or external achievement. You know, on some level, that your value is inherent, not earned. But knowing that
and living that are two different things. And right now, you're being asked to live it, to step back, to stop performing, to let yourself be unseen for a while, not because you're hiding, but because you're healing. The fact that this door blends into the wall is significant. You've learned to disappear when things get overwhelming, to fade into the background, to make yourself less visible so that you don't have to carry the weight of other people's expectations. Sometimes this is protection. Sometimes it's survival. But sometimes it's a pattern that keeps you from being fully known. This door is asking you to examine why you hide, not to shame you for it, but to help you understand what you're protecting and whether it still needs protecting. This door represents the archetype of the introvert, the hermit, the one who finds truth in solitude rather than in the noise of the world. You are being called inward, not away from life, but deeper into it, into the quiet places where real healing happens, where clarity emerges, where you can finally hear your own voice again. You've spent so much time listening to others, adapting to others, that you've lost touch with your own rhythm. This door is your invitation to find it again. But there's also a caution here. Retreat can become avoidance. Stillness can become stagnation. If you stay behind this door too long, you risk disappearing entirely, not just from the world, but from yourself. The message is balance. Rest, yes. Withdraw, yes, but not forever. Only long enough to remember who you are beneath all the roles you've been playing. And then, when you're ready, step back through. Not as the person everyone expects you to be, but as the person you actually are. You chose this door because you're exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. You need permission to stop. So here it is. Stop. Rest. Be still. The world will keep turning. And when you're ready, you'll rejoin it. But this time, on your own terms. Now that you've walked through your door, now that you've seen what it revealed, take a moment to sit with it. Don't rush past it. Don't immediately try to fix or change or optimize what you've learned. Just let it settle. The unconscious doesn't reveal itself all at once. It unfolds slowly, like a story being told in whispers. What you've read here is only the beginning. The real work, the real discovery, happens in the days and weeks that follow, as you notice the patterns, the feelings, the moments that this door shows up again in your life.
You may find that the door you chose today is not the door you would have chosen a year ago. That's because you're changing. The psyche is not fixed. It moves, it breathes, it responds to where you are and what you need. The door that calls to you now is the door your unconscious believes you need to walk through at this exact moment in your journey. Trust that. Trust the pull. Trust the resonance. And if you're willing, share in the comments which door chose you. Not for validation, not for comparison, but because sometimes seeing your own truth reflected back by others who walked through the same door reminds you that you're not alone. That the inner journey, as solitary as it feels, is something we're all walking together. Different doors, same house. Different paths, same forest.
different symbols, same soul. The unconscious is always speaking. The question is whether we're listening. Today, you listened, and that in itself is transformation.